Hello there and welcome to Lunchtime News, coming to you live and direct from the Christmas zone here in Echelon Square in the heart of Colombo. Bringing you the news, I'm Amavi Banagoda. Let's start off by taking a look at your headlines this afternoon.
Two sergeants attached to the K-Gol police interdicted. A prison official killed in a motor accident in SIGIRIYA, 3 others injured. 1 week action plan to be implemented in Colombo for the eradication of dengue. The petitions against the controversial citizenship law in India to be taken up by its Supreme Court today.
Now, 2 police sergeants attached to the K-Gol police have been interdicted over the killing of a woman with a sharp object inside the K-Gol courtroom premises yesterday.
Police said the 2 sergeants were interdicted for failing to conduct a thorough search on those who enter the court premises. Police said a formal disciplinary inquiry will be launched against them. The deceased is a mother of 2 children aged 5 and 11 years.
Now, taking a look at more local news, a prisons department van has met with an accident in Audangava, Sigiriya. Police said the accident had occurred when the prison van that was transporting an inmate from the Dumbara prison in Pallekele to the Hinguragoda court collided into a tree. 3 prison officials and 1 inmate were travelling in the vehicle at the time of the accident. The deceased was a 52-year-old prison sergeant. The 2 prison officials and inmate who sustained injuries are receiving treatment at the Dambulla General Hospital. Further investigations are underway. A special mosquito eradication program has been launched today covering the western province where dengue is common. Director of the National Dengue Eradication Unit, Dr. Arunajai Sekar, stated that the program has been implemented from a week from today. Over the past 16 days alone, 6,721 dengue patients have been reported from across the country. Taking a look at more local news, a party meeting of the SLPP was held in Veerakatiya, Hambantota yesterday.
Rajapaksa. There are conspiracies against our government in the international arena. You must have seen the embassy incident. When investigations were carried out, the truth was revealed. We do not want to make false witnesses by pressurizing the judiciary, forming special courts. We came to work, not to avenge ourselves. We are not prepared for political revenge.
Now, taking a look at more local news, the 2019 Enterprise Excellence Awards for the Southern Province, organized by the National Enterprise Development Authority, was held in Mathura yesterday.
The event was held under the auspices of Minister Vimal Veeravansa. The economy should be opened according to a local agenda and not to fit the agendas of organizations such as the WTO, IMF or the World Bank. In the past, the economy went down a vicious cycle. Local industries started to collapse. The local businessman lost the access he had to his own country's market. It is vital that we change this. The United States of America is attempting to persuade Sri Lanka to sign the MCC agreement because our lands are of great value. It is because we are surrounded by an ocean that is 27 times bigger than the country. Many undiscovered resources are hidden in that ocean. We are bound to protect and empower local entrepreneurs and industries. The tax policy should be decided based on the local entrepreneur and businessman, not based on what international trade organizations want. We intend to utilize the funds received through the Asian Development Bank and to provide loans to small and medium-scale businesses operating within several industries. These loans will be given with an interest rate of around 6 to 7%.
Now, the former governor of the Uva province, Maitri Gunaratna, convened a media briefing yesterday.
ස්විස් තානාපති කාර්යාලය මේ සියල්ලම සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම නාට්‍යයක් වගේ.
The officials of the Swiss embassy have acted this out like a drama. Each time they arrive at the CID, their statement changes. The CID made the arrest and presented her to court based on the instructions of the Attorney General. The Swiss embassy says it is not satisfied with how the investigation was conducted. We would like to tell the Swiss embassy, even we are not satisfied about how you are acting in a foreign state. We have seen on prior occasions how embassies attached to European countries tried to act according to their own will. That should stop. This is a sovereign state. This country should be respected. What would happen if various embassies start to spread false news like this every month? Then there would be no law in this country. It would turn into a mess. We are against that.
බොරු කතා මවන්න පටන් ගත්තොත් එහෙම මොකක්ද වෙන්නේ? මේ රටේ නීතියක් නැහැ. මේක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම වල්බී වෙච්ච රටක් බවට පත් වෙනවා. ඒකට අපි විරුද්ධයි.
Professor Ranjit Disanayake assumed duties as the secretary to the Urban Development Authority yesterday.
The ceremony commenced following religious observances. The ceremony was attended by the State Minister of Urban Development Gamini Lokoge and several others.
නාගරික සංවර්ධන අමාත්‍යාංශය තුල මතින දෙවන්ත කාර්යයක් මේ රටේ කරන්න තියෙනවා.
The Urban Development Authority has a lot of tasks under our purview. We have to carry out our current operations forward. In line with the manifesto of the current government, the people of this country are not expecting mere urban development. They are asking for an eco-friendly, livable city. As per instructions and advices of the President and Prime Minister, we have made plans on how we can incorporate eco-friendly concepts into our development plans. And on the other side, while we develop the main cities, we need to focus on developing the smaller cities and thereby reduce traffic into main cities by fulfilling the requirement of the people through smaller cities. We are currently working on plans that we can implement through this new government.
නව රජය තුල ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමට අවශ්‍ය වෙන නව සැලසුම් ගැන අපි
The World Bank today approved a $25 million loan to the government of Sri Lanka to improve the transparency and efficiency of core government and public financial management functions.
The Public Sector Efficiency Strengthening Project, or the PSEP, will help strengthen the institutional capacity of the Ministry of Finance to improve efficiency and deliver better services. The use of information technology and greater human resource capabilities will be the key drivers of the 5-year project. The European Union will be a partner in PSEP with a technical assistance grant of €10 million to help strengthen core public finance and accountability institutions. The $25 million loan from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, or the IBRD, has a final maturity of 28 years, including a grace period of 11 years.
Now the Newsfirst Christmas Zone is happening right here in Echelon Square, right in the heart of Colombo. Do come here with your family and your friends and experience the festivities in full swing here in Echelon Square. And with that, it's a wrap of lunchtime news here on TV1. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Amavi Banagoda. Have a good day.